Selamat pagi, para undangan hadirin yang terhormat. Selamat datang dalam Sidang Promosi Doktor Hukum Universitas Pelita Harapan dengan Bapak SHOICHI ONI hari ini Sabtu 15 Agustus 2020. Para undangan yang kami hormati, agar sidang akademik dapat berjalan dengan baik, kami mohon kerjasamanya untuk menjaga ketenangan dan ketertiban selama sidang berlangsung. Para undangan yang terhormat dimohon untuk menonaktifkan audionya selama sidang berlangsung, agar sidang dapat berjalan dengan baik. Para undangan yang terhormat, tim penguji telah hadir lengkap di ruang sidang atau meeting room online ini. Baik, yang pertama, Honorary Dr. Jonathan L. Parapak, Master of Engineering Science selaku Ketua Sidang. Yang kedua, Profesor Hikmahanto Juwana, SH, LL.M, Ph.D. selaku Promotor. Yang ketiga, Dr. Maria Gracia Sari Soetopo, B.Sc, MBA selaku Ko-Promotor. Yang keempat, Profesor Dr. Bintan R. Saragih, SH selaku Oponen Ahli. Yang kelima, Profesor Dr. Basuki Rekso Wibowo, SH, M.Eng.Sc selaku Oponen Ahli. Yang keenam, Profesor Dr. IBR Supancana, SH, MH selaku Oponen Ahli. Yang ketujuh, Associate Profesor Dr. Henry Soelistyo Budi, SH, LL.M selaku Oponen Ahli. Dan yang kedelapan, Dr. Susi Susantijo, SH, LL.M selaku Oponen Ahli. Saudara Promovendus dipersilakan memasuki ruang sidang dengan didampingi para NIM. Baik Bapak Ibu, mari kita mengawali sidang terbuka untuk program studi Doktor Hukum ini dengan doa. Saya akan memimpin dalam iman Kristiani, mohon dukungan dari Bapak Ibu yang berkeyakinan lain. Mari kita berdoa. Bapa yang bertahta dalam kerajaan surga, kami mengucap syukur atas penyertaan-Mu di sepanjang kehidupan kami, sehingga para penguji, promovendus, hadirin undangan dapat hadir dalam keadaan yang tidak kurang suatu apapun. Pada hari ini, kami akan melangsungkan sidang terbuka untuk program studi Doktor Hukum dari Bapak SHOICHI ONI. Kami memohon hikmat, pengertian, damai sejahtera, melingkupi promovendus dan para penguji. Biar kiranya Engkau menyertai jalannya sidang dari awal, pertengahan, hingga akhir, biar dapat berjalan seturut kehendak-Mu. Hanya di dalam nama Tuhan Yesus, kami sudah berdoa dan mengucap syukur kepada-Mu. Amin. Ujian untuk memperoleh gelar doktor dalam bidang ilmu hukum dimulai.
Professors and the examiners, ladies and gentlemen, with the blessing of God Almighty, I herewith declare that the meeting for the doctoral examination of Mr. SHOICHI ONI is open. I now invite Mr. SHOICHI ONI to present his dissertation titled Privatization of Public Law in the Case of International Investment Law. I invite Mr. SHOICHI ONI to make the presentation around 15 minutes. Please.
Thank you very much, Rector. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I would like to express my thanks to University of Pelita Harapan for providing me an opportunity of my study, which was realized through the kindness and generosity from Professor Bintan Saragih and Dr. Henry. I would like to express my thanks Dr. Jonathan Parapak, Rector, and all the examiners who attend this open exam. Taking this opportunity, especially I would like to convey my special gratitude to my promoter, Professor Hikmahanto, and co-promoter, Dr. Maria Soetopo, who are supporting and guiding me during these 4 years. And many thanks to my wife, Dr. Farida, and children. May always be blessed with good health and in God's protection. Amen. In last close exam on July 1st, I received valuable inputs and the advices from examiners. I made adjustment on chapter 1, 4, and 5, and my sentences in English were checked by native experts in United States. The style of writing was adjusted in compliance with UPH rules. I hope that dissertation is now better and clearer. My dissertation, titled Privatization of Public Law in the Case of International Investment Law, aims to clarify investor-state dispute settlement (ISDS) system to identify Indonesia's position in FDI policy. ISDS is a hybrid system which uses public international law to solve private interests of foreign investors. It is often referred to as a sample of privatization of public law. In 2014, there was argument regarding International Center for Settlement of Investment Dispute, ICSID, whether Indonesia should withdraw ICSID. Recently, Investor-State Dispute Settlement, ISDS, issue became a high-profile topic in the field of international investment law. Reflecting the new movement, I hope my study contributes for better understanding and references on ISDS system for the benefit of Indonesian economy. Regarding originality of my dissertation, out of 9 universities in Indonesia, and no other dissertation have the same title, and there are 2 dissertations from 2 universities, both are in relating to ICSID arbitration, while my dissertation is focusing ISDS system under international law. Therefore, I hereby state that my dissertation was written and completed by myself and has my own originality. In the dissertation, the following 3 questions were guided this paper research. 1. How does Indonesia's international economic position impact the national investment legal framework? 2. How investor-state dispute settlement implemented in Indonesia? 3. how alternative international dispute settlements be executed within Indonesia's legal system. Aims, purpose, and benefit of research were: one is to research and analyze how legal system in Indonesia has been developed through globalization after 1998 economic crisis. By reviewing the legal framework and FDI policy in Indonesia, fundamental conflict can be clarified, and pinning down those factors will be an important input to government organizations, experts, and academies. Two is to analyze the experiences of Indonesia's participation of ICSID Convention and ISDS system, especially calculating the actual expenditure of government for ISDS is to confirm whether ISDS is efficient and just from the viewpoint of constitution. Three is to analyze the alternative which Indonesia can take by viewing the case of India, Brazil, and the USA, which are implementing FDI without ISDS. Among other alternatives, possibility of using domestic court in Indonesia for FDI disputes will be a significant and interesting subject to study. This possibility will be important input for policymakers, government officials, and academies in Indonesia because it is for the future economic growth and reducing social costs. The writing system is as follows. Chapter 1 is for introduction and formation of issues, including state of arts. Chapter 2 is literature review, consisting of 2.1 theoretical framework for this dissertation, and 2.2 is conceptual framework. Chapter 3 is the explanation of methodology of the research. Chapter 4 is analysis divided into 3 parts in line with each research questions, and Chapter 5 is conclusion and recommendations. Theoretical framework was theory of efficiency, elaborated by Richard Posner, and the method of cost analysis was used to analyze ISDS cost. I used contract concept for BIT, as Posner agrees. 2.2 is the explanation of the general concept or definition on the terms used in this dissertation, focusing on the key words from the title. I added the definition of the term of privatization of public law. Methodology which I used was a doctrinal normative research. Approach was qualitative research for economic analysis, such as cost analysis. Data which I used are primary, secondary, and tertiary data, which are written in English, Japanese, and Indonesian from the reliable sources. My analysis in Chapter 4 will be as follows. 1. Liberal position of Indonesia regarding trade and investment is an important factor as a result of globalization. In line with Washington Consensus in 1998, Indonesia attained high-speed growth and is now qualified as FDI location and occupies the position of G20 of OECD. Thus, structure of economy of Indonesia has shifted from developing module by government initiative to market-oriented economy performed by private sectors. Although we need further study whether this liberal position of Indonesia is ideal, FDI can be considered private businesses made by foreign investors, Thus, FDI dispute can be considered commercial issues, and the government will not have to intervene in such claims by foreign investors. A policy of non-intervention will be significant if the government obtains a liberal position regarding trade and investment. If this occurs, Investment Law number 25, 2007 will need to be reviewed. For example, it will need to be reconsidered whether FDI in natural resources should be subject to ISDS clauses. 2. Merit of ISDS for host state has to be confirmed also. Liz Johnson at Columbia Center on Sustainable Investment wrote in her policy papers on ISDS and pointed out that there is no benefits for host states. For example, the three core benefits of ISDS, which is increasing investment flow by providing potential investors additional security and protection. Number two is depoliticizing investment disputes by home states or host state. Number three, improving the rule of law in the host states. The policy paper says that none of those merits exist. According to her, recent change of FDI policy on ISDS by US shows ISDS has not merit for host state, but only provide high exposure of being sued by the foreign investors within its territory. According to the data of UNCTAD, during the period of 2014 to 2018, or 5 years, the number of cases that foreign investors earn from host states by ISDS are 94.3 cases every year. Since the average awarded amount per case is 522 million US dollars, the total amount, minimum 50 billion US dollars, is paid by host states every year on average. Therefore, we can say that foreign investors and their home states, ISDS is a system to reimburse a part of FDI amount through international arbitration system from developing countries. Additionally, the host states are bearing legal costs of total 856 million US dollars every year. Those host states that are paying such costs are commonly considered weak in legal system. In case of Indonesia's experience on ISDS arbitration, there were 12 ISDS cases since 1990. In total, minimum 705 million US dollars was spent since 1990 by government. Thus, we can say that government is spending 27 million US dollars every year for ISDS with no merit and high risk. This amount is 1.6 times of annual budget of Constitutional Court in Indonesia. And yet, comparing the global average cost, the cost of Indonesia is 1.8 to 5.6 times higher. 3. The question will be how to treat ISDS. In considering the alternatives for ISDS, the following 3 findings will be important. Number 1, no members of ICSID, such as India and Brazil, can still attract the FDI. 2, out of UNCTAD menu on the modification of ISDS, the domestic court will be better than outsourcing the dispute settlement to international jurisdiction. 3, USA revoked ISDS from their FDI policy. Conclusion and recommendations. Number one, FDI's dispute can be considered commercial issues under liberal position of Indonesia, and the government will not have to intervene in such claims by foreign investors. Thus, ISDS system where government has to take responsibility should be studied for deletion from BIT and investment law. Two, from the experience of ISDS by Indonesia, government has been paying higher costs for ISDS, and there might be a possibility of inefficient and unjust. It is recommended to obtain the approval of the parliament to confirm the legitimacy of ISDS in BIT and investment law, particularly concerning treatment of natural resources. Three, the most beneficial and viable alternative for FDI dispute is domestic court solution. In such a case, it is recommended to study the possibility to review private international law and arbitration law for arbitration and mediation as a short-term target. Establishing a special court for international dispute can be studied in the long terms. Well, that will be all my presentation. Thank you for your kind attention.
Thank you very much. I now invite Professor Hikmahanto, Juwana, LL.M, Ph.D. to ask question, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My question to you, Mr. Oni,
Yes.
is I understand that you recommend Indonesia delete or withdraw from the ISDS. And I can agree with you, but the issue at hand is, of course, the central government nowadays does not have any strong authority on foreign direct investment, but the regional government has more authority over them. Now, my question to you is whether foreign investors are comfortable with the regional government. Can you answer that question? And if the regional government is arbitrarily make a certain decision that is not in favor of the foreign direct investment, the foreign investor, what should the foreign investor do? Thank you.
Please go ahead to answer briefly, please.
Yes, thank you very much, Professor Dr. Hikmahanto. The number one, the foreign investor is whether comfortable with the regional government or not. Regarding this one, is actually under the international investment law, like ISDS system, usually whatever the regional government, central government is going to take responsibility. That is, they are using ILC articles, which is wrongful doing, to define the wrongful doing of the state under the international law. Of course, there is argument to applying for this kind of ILC articles, but still the activities of regional government is the responsibility of central government. So whether a foreign investor is comfortable or not, it is too risky. If we think that a regional state or regional government performance is not so good, cannot satisfy investor, the more central government should not take the responsibility. That is one of the reasons why I propose we better go out from ISDS. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Next, may I invite Dr. Maria Gracia Sari Soetopo to ask question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Rector Jonathan Parapak. Good morning, Program Vendors, Mr. Oni. I would like to firstly congratulate you on making the final rounds of your doctoral examination today, and I commend you on all of the extensive research that you have done in the couple of years, and applaud you for taking on the efficiency theory by Richard Posner in recommending Indonesia to exit and using the legal system locally to settle investment disputes. Now, being said that, we all know that we are facing economic recessions. All countries around the world are facing economic recessions. All sectors of the economy in our country and all parts of the world are facing economic consequences due to the pandemic era. My question for you, or I would like you to take this opportunity to enlighten the public that at this moment in time, a new or a revised investment law and the local system, as you just said, can still be upheld and still be efficient mechanism to settle investment disputes and contribute the economic growth as planned by the government in the next 5 years. Please go ahead and enlighten us. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Please, Mr. SHOICHI ONI, brief.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Thank you very much. Your questions regarding the Dr. Soetopo. This one is in my dissertations. Deletion of ISDS is proposed basing on theory of efficiency. According to the cost analysis of Indonesia experience of ISDS, government is spending around 27 million US dollars every year average for ISDS without benefit and with high risk. Jokowi administration issued this Presidential Decree number 18, 2020, last January, regarding 5 years plans, National Medium-Term Development Plan for 5 years. The Presidential Decree mandate to use the economic analysis of law, a cost-benefit analysis, before installing into a law or regulations to pursue the economic efficiency. Through the influence by or damages by pandemic, the efficiency of law and regulations will become more needed or more important, and I hope that deletion of ISDS will be the first one to be implemented in order to save the cost. And ISDS system works may be worse in case of economic crisis, like Argentina. Argentina had an economic crisis and had 44 cases from ISDS, and they lost 40 cases in case of Argentina. So still Argentina cannot. If because of the pandemic, if the economy is forecast is very pessimistic, then in that case we better go out as soon as possible. So at least we can save $27 million per year. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any more questions?
That will be all. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you very much. I now invite Professor Dr. Bintan Saragih to ask questions, please.
Thank you, Pak Rektor, Mr. Chairman. Mr. SHOICHI ONI.
Yes.
Yeah. If you pass this examination, you will be alumni of Faculty of Law. Now I ask you a question. This is only a simple question. What is the concrete contribution of your dissertation to increase FDI Indonesia? So, if you ask me a good answer, if BKPM invite Faculty of Law UPH to give input about FDI and review law number 25, 2007, I will give them recommendation from your dissertation. So as I repeat again, what is the concrete contribution of your dissertation to increase FDI Indonesia? Please.
Yes. My dissertation is saying that there is no, for host state of FDI, there is no benefit. So it means that we only sacrificing ourselves, spending money for this ISDS system. So my dissertation is more contribution of saving the damages or loss by participating ISDS rather than the increasing of FDI. Increasing of FDI, when we see the global movement of capital of outward and inward FDI stock, we can easily see the real factor to attract FDI is the tax reduction, not really the capability or not really the labors, and then but tax incentives is most important to attract. That's why after USA reduced their tax after administration of Trump, the overseas MNE are trying to send back the money to USA. That is the actual movement. Why? Because that they can get the tax incentives. So the key point is the tax incentives. And as I really appreciate the activities of OJK. OJK has been, they are trying their best to become G20 and OECD member. And those OJK is also thinking to reduce the tax to attract the FDI right now. And I can contribute myself for policymakers, government officials, and academies regarding ISDS system in BIT negotiations and also amendment of investment law. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Cukup Pak Bintan?
Cukup, Pak.
Okay. I invite Professor Dr. Basuki Rekso Wibowo to ask question.
Prof. Basuki, suaranya belum keluar.
Sudah,
Okay.
Pak.
Sudah okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Shoichi, we know Japan is an important country for investment in Indonesia.
Yes.
However, disputes are rare. Can you explain that why? Thank you.
That's it. Go ahead.
Actually, thank you very much, Professor Dr. Basuki. That regarding the how to, I think the question is why the Indonesia has been, for Indonesia, the FDI is very important, is since when we look back, Indonesia has been always growing the economy by trade. Even before colonialism from Western countries is also targeting about the trade. And only that was done only for the raw materials before, but these days already due to the industrializations, all the investors here in Indonesia, especially Japanese companies, are contributing for the industrializations, and then medium products, not really final products, are the main trade commodities. So it means that we have to know the flow and development of world trade, the commodities flow first, and then we have to adjust. Indonesia has to adjust to the situations on the globalizations. So, for example, as an IT area, servicing, and then all those things are the latest tendency of FDI. Now, for the future, I believe the economy size will be pessimistically is going to reduce all over the world. It is all phenomena all over the world, the common phenomena. But I believe that certain industries, like information industries and then all those things, we have to negotiate. We have to invite all those MNE to us with a some card. Some card is, I believe, still believe, is the not ISDS, but it is the tax cut incentives. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any more
Thank
questions?
you, Mr. Thank
No?
you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, I now invite Professor Dr. IBR Supancana to ask question.
Thank you, Chair, for giving me the opportunity to ask questions to the knowledgeable promovendus, SHOICHI ONI-san. I have two questions. Please answer the question short, but comprehensive and substantive. My first question is related to your conclusion number 2, as reflected in page 436, concerning the merit of the investor-state dispute settlement for Indonesia. You have highlighted that Indonesia has suffered loss, or at least spent, of around $705 million since 90s, involving 12 cases,
Yes.
while the state have received no benefit from the high risk of international arbitration. I personally have a different perspective on this issue, because in my opinion, ISDS is an international standard reflecting international standard, common practices, and best practices relating to the investor-state dispute settlement. And by implementing ISDS, actually, Indonesia create more legal certainty for investment, which is very important for investment. And legal certainty will create more investment, will create more job opportunity and poverty reduction. My question is, could you provide me, in short but substantive, whether you have conducted comprehensive cost and benefit analysis to reflect the overall total benefit against total cost? That is my question number one. Question number two is related to your recommendation number 3. In your recommendation number 3, basically, you have a preference to settle the investor-state dispute settlement through domestic court, in this case, through Indonesian court system. But if we see that based on some studies conducted by political and economy risk consultancy on the legal system and its impact toward foreign direct investment, and also based on ease of doing business study conducted by the World Bank, that the Indonesia legal system is bad, including contract enforcement. Our rank is number 145. Also based on the study from the Queen Mary University of London, stating that business has a preference, 93% of the business has a preference to settle their dispute through international arbitration. My question is, given the above fact, how do you come to the idea that national or domestic court is the best choice to settle investor-state dispute? Thank you very much, Your Chairman.
Okay, please, as brief as possible. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Supancana. I would like to answer regarding the number one. The reason why I'm going to answer from the third questions for the domestic court, usage of domestic court. Domestic court and international arbitration has very, very big difference as a solution system. The most problem is in case of court system, transparency will be guaranteed. In case of international arbitrations, the basic is secrecy. So the amount of settlement is sometimes or maybe around 30% or 40%. For example, out of tribunal, we can settle the dispute that is categorized as settlement in the UNCTAD report, which occupies 23%. So investors is receiving money behind, but we do not know. Government does not announce because it is not inside of the arbitrations. So what and then secondly, the nature of the dispute from the FDI in Indonesia is domestic issues. They sue Indonesia outside of jurisdictions of Indonesia. Should we allow that, since the nature of the dispute is from domestic issues? So we should not allow our government, our legal system is staying ranking 100. We cannot allow that because legal improvement of legal system is strictly connected with the assurance of the investor, which is actually the important impression. Actually, that kind of legal system is there. I know there are a lot of criticism, but if we can leave it like that, we cannot grow. And regarding the number two, Indonesia is spending the cost and then benefit. This one is, as I already explained, the exact figure of from international arbitration is unknown. That's why Indonesia has 12 experiences of the cases which were announced by BKPM, and we checked, we made a research, but we could not get whole figures like award and how much legal costs and then etc. But we know the global standard, which is actually lower than Indonesia's legal costs and then others. So actually, the loss of or damages of Indonesia is more than this around 705 million US dollars in total, because some, for example, power plants, two power plants project were settlement outside. Nothing is announced, no figures. I do not have it. So maybe only government knows. So if government is really wants to review about that one, the problem is they are thinking, oh, this is only 12 cases out of hundreds, thousand FDI cases, only 12 cases. So there is no problem. That is not the point. The point is how much we lost, and this loss or damage, if we are out of ISDS, of course, we can use that money for improvement of legal system in domestic court. Thank you very much.
Okay. Is that sufficient, Professor Pachana?
Sufficient, yes. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, the next, I invite the Associate Professor, Dr. Henry Soelistyo Budi, to ask question, please.
I thank you very much, Pak Rektor. Allow me, first of all, to make a very short report to Pak Rektor that we have 4 foreign PhD students on the list, 3 Koreans and 1 Japanese. And me, just like Edward, I did shepherding and monitoring all of those students during their research. But it's only SHOICHI ONI Sang stand up in this promotion stage. I'm happy to have him today in his defense for his final results. And very unfortunate that the other 3 are missing, Rector. For that, I should appreciate you, Tony, that you have a great achievement in your progress of study. I do also appreciate to your promoter and co-promoter in supervising you on the hard work finalizing your research. Now, I hope my question will not overlap with the question raised by Professor Supancana. Referring to your research, it is concluded that ISDS is not preferable due to its high cost consequences and efficiency considerations. I agree with that point. And it is not preferable as well to settle FDI dispute through international arbitration. It's agreeable. Now I'm willing to have your analysis on why international arbitration is not preferable. I give the time back to Pak Rektor. Thank you.
Okay, please, could you answer that briefly?
Thank you very much, Professor Dr. Henry. Actually, why international arbitration is like that is, after I checked the flow of FDI stock globally, I noticed that it is the system that host state cannot win. It means winning means defend. I do not have to pay the claim. That is the meaning of winning of this international arbitration system from ISDS. Lose a little or lose big or defend, maybe break even. But actually, this break even does not include legal costs because there is no income from international arbitration for the host state. So it is unilateral system. Only what host state can do, like a Churchill mining, is to defend only and make it break even and does not have to pay the compensations. Compensation was at that time $2 billion US. So it is too huge. And actually, why the legal cost is also expensive. For example, if Indonesia asks for first-class law office for defending, it will cost per case is average around $5 million US. And so 12 cases, it is already huge. Only to defend. And Indonesia is going to grow from now on. And then there is a lot of opportunity for foreign investors suing state under the present situation as far as we recognize ISDS. We cannot control all those things. So that's why, as a first, the other country also, developing country, the UNCTAD is now preparing the menus, how to modify ISDS. And one of them is going out from ISDS. The another one is limiting the access to ISDS. For example, before you claim international arbitrations, you have to go to consume the local regional court first, and after exhaustion, then we can go to arbitration. That kind of arrangement can be done. That is the idea of India, for example. And Indonesia is also offering those kind of things. But those kind of things is, okay, still, for me, it is very short. Still, we will be sued. And it is very hard under the present situation. The losing ratio will be cannot reduce. It means defense is not so strong. That's why if we delete ISDS, there is no other choice for foreign investors, only to go to the court, domestic court, whatever the quality is. But from my experience, Indonesian court system, legal system is not so bad. We do not my wife is operating the law offices, and our clients is a Japanese company. And Japanese companies are usually, they do not make any corruptions. So that is our style, not to deliver any money, no corruptions. I know that they exist, but still we are winning. Nearly 18 years, we never lost because we did not maintain the corruption or something like that. Indonesia is legal system is not so bad. I have a confidence to improve domestic court. So foreign investor, when they come and then claim that is actually domestic issues like service from regional government is lacking or has a misunderstanding about the tax and etc. That is basically the domestic issues is main dispute. That's why I'm proposing why not we just go out from ISDS and foreigner only if they want to have a solutions of dispute, they have to go to the court in Indonesia. Why not? That has more, reliable and transparency. We can read in the newspaper at least what is happening right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. The next, may I invite Dr. Susi Santio to ask question.
Thank you, Pak Rektor. Mr. SHOICHI ONI, I would like to appreciate your comprehensive research on this topic. It's really very interesting. I would like to ask you to explain on your recommendation with your research. You have come to the recommendation on page 439, where you specifically mentioned one of the recommendations is to delete ISDS system from investment law so that FDI disputes should be settled between the parties on their contract, not involving state responsibility. Would you explain and elaborate that further to clarify your specific recommendation of what Indonesia can do in the future? And the second one is on your last recommendation, you are talking about design work for establishing specialized court as the final result of the solution. What do you have in mind when you talk about the specialized court? Whether it is the one that we already have, the specialized court, for example, like the commercial court, or we call it the peradilan niaga, or do you have in mind a new specific specialized court should be established for this matter? Please. Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Please.
Thank you, Dr. Susi. Regarding the special court, I checked some consultant and then some government document regarding the after 1998, the relating with the improvement of development of the law system. There are a lot of law came up, and then also the special court like a labor court and then some other court is IBR and then tax and then etc. were special court. Now among them there is a commercial court in Jakarta, and there is a certain academic study about this special court. They try to, that is actually from the scholar from the Belanda. That one, they wanted to make it special commercial court, judges should not be influenced from other existing legal groups. So, but actually, among the academies, it is understanding that commercial court is failure. Why? Because right now, commercial court is handling bankruptcy law. And if you know about how to handle the bankruptcy case, it is matter of money. And then no other commercial is handled by commercial court, but the success one is constitutional court. So when I see when I write it down, the special court is, I'm imagining after arbitrations, when we install international arbitration in our jurisdictions, of course, if there is a complaint, they have to go to the court in that country, the seat. We have to prepare the seat. That is international arbitrations procedures. So from that point of view, that should be the last resort. We have to create some very fair and then reliable court for the arbitration. Even arbitration, we need certain, if there is complaints about award of arbitration, we need a seat. So that is what I imagine about special court.
Thank you. Now it's my turn.
Thank you, sir.
The basic of the main item of my question is, since you have been criticizing ISDS, yeah, and I guess there must be some positive element of the ISDS, so I'd like to hear that. But allow me to give the background. 40 years ago, I was president of Indosat. At that time, the government decided to take over Indosat, and then there was that consideration of nationalization. And there was a move to go to international court or international legal system, arbitration. Yeah, as you know, I think foreign investors don't quite trust our arbitration. But during the time, I worked very hard to persuade the investor from United States. You know, Indosat was the second foreign investment in Indonesia, relating to satellite telecommunication. And it took quite a persuasion to say, don't go to the international. Let us negotiate. So thus we negotiated, and then it was an amicable solution. Rather than nationalization, it was actually a commercial purchase of the shares of Indosat at that time. So that is the background that I wanted to say, but I wanted to hear whether there's any positive elements at all of ISDS. Since you have not mentioned that, you're only sort of advising us to just withdraw from ISDS. Any comments, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Rector. My position of dissertation is host state. We are supposed to stand up as on the platform of host state, not foreign investors. So actually, ISDS is the foreign investors' interest, and then state sovereignty interest is the conflict of interest. So that's why my position is I'm saying no merit for host state. But if we say the foreign investors, yes, they can sue anytime. They can circumvent the domestic law of the host state. They can do whatever they want. Is it fair enough? I think that is, of course, because of ISDS and other efforts by World Bank, the world economy has been developed, and then up to now it is running, and etc. But time might change. For example, by pandemic, the economic size is going very smaller and smaller every country, and they started to be egoistic, and their own domestic system has to be efficient. Before, if the project is assessed, if we have a profit, yes, we can say, yeah, this one is okay as a project, as a national project. But after pandemic, I believe that among all those, the positive project, of course, we have to select again more bigger efficiency project will be put superiority than the another project. So the competition of efficiency is going to be very, very hard and very important factors. As number 18, 2020, President Jokowi is already signed. That is the right directions of this country. So, of course, for foreign investors, there is a merit as the ISDS and also World Bank. But I did not mention here to denounce exit. I did not say denounce exit. Why? Because we need World Bank. Very delicate. It is political and then diplomat situations, but relation with World Bank is also very important. They have been very kind to Indonesia, and then they are reporting periodically reporting the country report regarding Indonesia. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I think we have completed the question. Yeah, now, let's have a break, and the examiners will have a conference. So I herewith declare that we'll have a break for 15 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Promovendus, SHOICHI ONI, you may leave the room. Para undangan yang terhormat, mohon menunggu sejenak untuk para penguji memberikan penilaian. Para undangan yang terhormat, sidang ujian promosi Doktor Hukum akan dilanjutkan kembali. Tim penguji telah lengkap hadir kembali di ruang sidang meeting room ini. Saudara Promovendus dipersilahkan memasuki ruang sidang.
Okay, I hereby reopen our meeting for the doctoral examination. Mr. SHOICHI ONI with the registration 00009283. Yeah, we have conducted and consulted relating to your examination. And I'd like to thank Professor Hikmahanto, Juwana, LL.M, Ph.D, who has also reported to us your academic performance. And because of that, we like to declare that, yes, you have fulfilled all the requirements, to get a doctoral degree from UPH, and according to all your performance, actually you could be getting a cum laude, grade. But because of the timing you have spent, it is just very good. So congratulations to you and to your family. I now invite Professor Hikmahanto, Juwana, LL.M, Ph.D, to actually convey to you the decision of the examining board. Please, Prof.
Upacara
Thank you.
akan segera dimulai.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Oni Soichi, with the power vested in me, I hereby give you the certificate of doctoral degree from Universitas Pelita Harapan. As a promoter, I would like to congratulate Dr. Oni Soichi for successfully defended his dissertation entitled The Privatization of Public Law in the Case of International Investment Law. And I also would like to congratulate the family of Dr. Oni Soichi, who have supported him throughout the years, 5 years in obtaining this degree. Dr. Oni Soichi, you have defended your dissertation well. You have answered all the questions put forward by the examiners. Substantively, I understand that this is what you've written and concluded in your findings is something that is not in line with what people or other research have been done. But I understand that what you want to convey is that Indonesia in 1967 is different from Indonesia in 2020. Legal certainty is being delivered now within our system. Foreign investors need to have trust in our legal system so that we do not any longer need the ISDS or exit. What we want to see in Indonesia is like in the US, like in the UK, even like in Japan. Those investors coming to these countries, if they have dispute between their partners or even with the government, they would settle through domestic legal system. They will not bring their dispute to international dispute resolution. I commend what you have found in your dissertation. And I think this is a good thing for Indonesia's government. Dr. Oni Soichi, you have become an inspiration to many of us. Even though you may be quote unquote senior, but you still pursue this degree, not only to obtain the title of doctors, but you want to do research. And out of your love to Indonesia, even though you are born in Japan and people know you as Japanese, but you have loved this country much more than an Indonesian. Based on your research, Indonesia should not waste a lot of money because of the international dispute resolution. Lastly, I wish you all the success from here on, and I hope that this degree will bring you happiness. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Well, thank you very much, Prof. And it is definitely my joy to congratulate Dr. Shoichi Oni, who is the 75th graduate in Doctor of Law from UPH, just the same as the independence celebration today. So that is very special. 75th. Yeah, congratulations. Congratulations to your family, and also congratulations, yeah, to Prof and all those who have supported you to be able to actually get your final destination to receive the doctoral degree today. And as Prof said, yeah, I hope your contribution will not end here, but we hope your love for Indonesia will be continued, and you'll continue to do research and help so that Indonesia, yes, we would like to invite foreign investor to Indonesia, but at the same time, we want our legal system to be fully supportive of those who come and help Indonesia to develop. So thank you for that. And at this time, I'd like to thank all the examiners. Thank you, Prof. For those of you who are in Bandung or in other places, thank you for participating in this examination. And again, congratulations to Dr. Shoichi Oni and to the family. May God bless you. And I now invite Adolfina Jessica to close in prayer.
Baik Bapak, Bapak Ibu, para penguji dan hadirin undangan yang terhormat, mari kita menutup sidang akademik pada pagi hari ini dengan doa. Saya akan memimpin secara iman Kristiani, mohon dukungan dari Bapak Ibu yang berkeyakinan lain. Mari kita berdoa. Let us pray. Puji dan syukur kami panjatkan kehadiran-Mu Tuhan. Terima kasih Tuhan untuk penyertaan-Mu atas jalannya sidang terbuka Doktor Hukum pada hari ini yang dapat berjalan dengan baik. Kami mengucap syukur atas dilantiknya Doktor baru Fakultas Hukum Universitas Pelita Harapan yang ke-75, Doktor Shoichi Oni. Semoga dengan ilmu yang baru didapatnya ini dapat diabdikan dan dipertanggungjawabkan bagi UPH dan masyarakat. Kami menyerahkan Bapak Doktor Shoichi Oni ke dalam tangan-Mu dan kiranya selalu diberi hikmat untuk segala rencananya, selalu mengandalkan Tuhan di dalam setiap aspek kehidupannya. Inilah doa kami yang kami alaskan hanya di dalam nama Tuhan Yesus Kristus. Kami sudah berdoa dan mengucap syukur kepadamu. Amin.
Thank you. So now, with the blessing of God Almighty, here with close our examination meeting. Thank you. God blessing.
Thank you Pak Rektor. Mohon
Terima kasih Pak Rektor.
Ya,
terima kasih Prof semua.
Terima kasih Pak Rektor.
Ya, Pak.
Ya, yang menyediakan waktunya pada weekend begini. Ya, kami sangat hargai.
Terima kasih Pak Rektor.
Pak Rektor, para penguji mohon untuk tidak meninggalkan ruang sidang terlebih dahulu. Mohon izin untuk sesi foto bersama ya Pak.
Oke.
Ucapan selamat dari keluarga. Baik, Host akan memimpin jalannya screenshot. Kami persilakan.
Baik, Bapak Ibu, mohon izin kami akan mengambil screenshot. Silakan Bapak Ibu melihat ke kameranya masing-masing. Saya akan ambil 2 kali. Yang pertama, 1, 2, 3. Boleh ditunggu. Sekali lagi boleh kasih senyumnya yang terbaik. 1, 2, 3.
Ya.
Oke, terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih.
Pak Rektor,
Oke.
terima kasih ini udah memimpin sidang dengan bagus ini hari ini.
Terima kasih. Prof
Terima
Bintan,
kasih Pak
jangan
Rektor.
lupa.
Terima kasih semuanya.
Ini
Baik,
Prof
Pak.
Bintan.
kirim kue ulang tahun Prof Bintan.
Ya Pak, terima kasih Pak.
Oh iya.
Semua.
Pak Hikmahanto,
Para keluarga semuanya ini, keluarga udah ada di sini juga nih.
ya.
Ya,
Prof Supancana.
Terima kasih Prof. Basuki,
ya
Prof.
Prof, terima kasih bisa ketemu
Selamat Prof
lagi.
Bintan, Bu Maria.
Walaupun dunia maya, tapi ya kelihatannya rasanya dekat banget, cuma nggak pegang tangan kan nggak boleh gitu, jadi ya. Jadi saya jauh aja.
Baik.
Ada saya situ. Ya. Ya selamat ya Prof Hikmahanto jadi orang Bandung itu.
Pak Rektor, terima kasih semuanya. Terima
Ya
kasih.
jadi itu.
Ada satu
Prof Basuki,
sesi lagi.
terima kasih.
Terima kasih Pak Rektor.
Dan semua yang bertugas.
Kita mau dipimpin lagi sama pembawa acara Pak, silakan.
Baik, makasih Pak Prof Bintan, Pak Rektor. Mohon izin untuk keluarga dari istri dari SHOICHI ONI Sang akan memberikan selamat dari Dr. Ike Farida. Kami persilakan waktu dan kesempatan. Ibu, silakan.
Siap.
Masih mute. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. The Honorable Dr. Jonathan, Director of University of Pelita Harapan, Profesor Hikmahanto Juwana, Dr. Maria Soetopo as a Co-Promotor, the Honorable Examiners, Profesor Bintan Saragih, Dr. Henry Soelistyo, Profesor Dr. Basuki, Profesor Dr. Supancana, Dr. Susi, distinguished guests. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Dr. SHOICHI ONI, B.A. M.H. on your valuable achievement. This is truly a huge moment for us to be able to witness you on achieving such significant milestone. Looking at his big effort and his kind spirit through the journey to finish this dissertation, you deserve to be a role model for our kids and also other young generation of Indonesia. During his research, Dr. Oni has bought more than 300 books from many countries to support his dissertation. Yet, as if that it is not enough, he would still buy a new one even on the family trips and holiday. In the past several years, I have seen him spend a great deal of sleepless nights. I would find him still work on his dissertation until 1 or 2 a.m. in the morning. Even on Ramadan days, he would still be working on it even after sahur time. However, he seems to enjoy it, every bit of it, because reading and writing are his hobbies in the first place. In that moment, I knew that he will attain his success soon, and gladly that moment has arrived. For that reason, once again, congratulations on your fantastic achievement, Dr. Oni. Your dedication, enthusiasm, and insight are really inspiring all of us. Moreover, I would like also to express my utmost gratitude to everyone whom has played a role in this process, especially for Prof. Hikmahanto and Dr. Maria Soetopo. Also to the Rector of University of Pelita Harapan as well, and then Professor Basuki, Professor Supancana, Dr. Susi, Professor Bintan Saragih, and also, of course, Dr. Henry, who always give him appreciation and best support to Mr. Oni in achieving his law doctorate. I believe this dissertation will be useful for the government of Indonesia as well as other policymakers. I hope that this will not only be used as reference in the making of the new regulation of investment law, but also for the academic, legal, and business practitioner purposes. Lastly, a little quote for Dr. Oni. As one ever said, success is yours always on the new venture you take every now and then. Your duty as a Ph.D. in law has just begun. Korekaramo gambate kudasai. Since the end of this journey will probably clear up your schedule a little, I hope you and I can take a moment always from the book reading, and maybe we can go fishing and photo hunting again. Thank you all. Have a good day. Gambate kudasai.
Okay. Oke, sudah?
Sudah, Pak Rektor.
Ya.
Terima kasih.
Bye-bye.
Baik, terima kasih semuanya.
Terima kasih semuanya.
Terima kasih
Bye.
semuanya.
Terima kasih.
Mari.
Terima kasih.
Sehat selalu semua. Mari.
Bapak.
Jangan bosan, masih ada nanti panggilan buat para profesor ini.
Siap, Prof.
Ya.
Kita makin banyak ini sekarang. Nggak tahu Pak yang gimana.
Amin.
Terima kasih. Siap.
Terima kasih semuanya. Sehat.
Ibu Maria.
Selamat Bu Maria.
Selamat siang, Prof. Terima kasih semuanya.
Terima kasih Prof. Basuki.
Pak Henry, terima kasih Pak Henry semuanya.
Sama-sama.
Terima kasih semuanya.
Terima kasih Pak Henry, terima kasih Bu Maria.
Terima kasih juga.
Congratulations, Mr. Oni. Dr. Oni.
Thank you very
Dr.
much.
Oni, congratulations. Terima kasih banyak ya. Terima kasih.